It's hard to believe that a game with such a pedigree, like Mega Man X, has a direct sequel that isn't really talked about all that much. I don't think it's outright forgotten, nor do I think it's loathed like some of the other games in the series, but Mega Man X is such a beloved game, and it's hard to believe that a direct sequel released only a year later is just never really on anyone's radar. But hey, I'm here to see what it's like. I never played an X game to completion past the first one, so just figured I'd try it out and see what it's all about. But before we dive in real quick, I just want to quickly mention that I am following a weakness chain guide on the internet, just because it'd just be faster just to figure it out that way than to just experiment on my own, especially with how fast-paced some of these games can be. Aside from that, I'll try and collect the collectibles I see outright on my own, and then once I've beaten all the Mavericks, use a guide to collect the rest whenever I need to. I do have like a rough idea as to get some of these things, because I've already watched reviews from like Some Call Me Johnny, or Let's Plays from like the Great Clement for people to mention. So I've got a general outline as to how to get some of these things, but I'll still use a guide at the end of it myself just to collect everything. But with that aside, why don't we dive in and take a look at Mega Man X2. Alrighty, here we go. Mega Man X2 takes place 6 months after the first. X has taken command of the Maverick Hunters for now after the destruction of Zero and the defeat of Sigma. The initial uprising Mavericks have been thinned out, but in recent weeks a small surge of them seem to be appearing alongside the Maverick Hunters discovering a factory making large Maverick mechanoids. All this seems to be the work of the X Hunters, 3 Reploids hell-bent on seeing the destruction of X. What's with their beef? Who knows, but we gotta head out and stop them. They send out 8 Mavericks to go about disrupting the Hunters, and that's where we'll start out. Doing the opening stage, you find out quick that X is now rocking the dash by default, and that's great. The dash alone is sort of what truly differentiates Mega Man X from OG Mega Man. Not much else to say, that gigantic mechanoid is certainly big, so yeah. Without the near mandatory need to go to a specific stage due to a gameplay upgrade like in the first game, any stage could be a viable first stop. Personally, I go with Wire Sponge first. He's got a super easy access to both a returning heart and sub-tank, starting your journey off on the right foot. A boss door down here? And it won't open. Weird. Otherwise, Wire Sponge's stage is nothing to write home about. The rain is a little annoying, but eh. As a first Maverick, Wire Sponge can be a little annoying due to multiple invulnerable states, but it isn't too bad. Getting his weapon, the Strike Chain, is another great means of traversal. It can latch onto walls on top of hurting enemies or snagging items from afar. Something that'll be really helpful for a Wheel Gator stage, since he houses the first Dr. Light capsule along this path. The same 4 armor pieces are back, but offer some different benefits. The one here offers X a different charge shot compared to the first. Charging all the way can have X store it in both hands, allowing for 2 shots in one go. Great for bosses since the second shot tends to ignore the invulnerable state that they sometimes take during the charge shot. The second shot can also be stored away for instant use later on if you want. It's a little annoying that X gets locked into place if firing the special shot unless he's in the air or dashing, but is otherwise the better charge shot variant of the 2 games so far. And of course, the arms also let you charge special weapons. The headpiece can locate hidden passages, which got absolutely 0 use out of me besides the actual demonstration. I get what they were trying to go for, but the only reason they would make an item like this is to solve the problem of hiding items in terrible hiding spots. See, there's a wrong way to do hidden collectibles and a right way. Can't make it too easy to collect things, otherwise it just won't feel rewarding. On the flip side, you can't give the players no feedback whatsoever on where some hidden stuff is, or else it'll just frustrate players when found, and unfortunately, X2 does the latter a little bit too much, hence the inclusion of the helmet. But to that end, I'd have no immediate use for it since I'm not going to waste my time by having the radar equipped at all times, just trying to hunt down these hidden items when I can just do what I can at the start and then clean up with a guide later on. The body armor's kinda neat. I can't 100% confirm if it reduces the damage taken since the wording's a little wonky, but as you take damage, you charge up a special Giga Crush attack, which acts as a strong screen nuke. It looks cool, it's strong, yeah, it's just really awesome. The feet parts leaves me a bit mixed. Simply put, it lets you do an air dash. I hear people cry to the moon and back about how great the feature is, and for me, I think it's a little overhyped. There are some points where it's useful, sure, but there's something important to note. You can't air dash after doing a dash jump. X sort of works in groups of triplets, moving, dashing, and jumping. You're always moving, sure, but then you can jump and then dash, or dash and then jump. Then that resets once you hit the ground. I guess it's kind of a balancing act, but here's the thing. With good play, dash jumping covers way more ground than air dashing horizontally, and only just barely doesn't cover it vertically, to the point that it's almost negligible, at least in this game. I don't know. I don't think it was that great of an upgrade. Sorry, got sidetracked. Wheel Gator's got a new ride armor to use. This one can charge up a dash attack and can fly for a short period, which is neat. Overall, Wheel Gator's stage layout is fun and flashy, looks awesome. His fight itself is easily one of the worst. Not even because it's overly hard. He sort of gets caught in a loop with his weakness of getting hit, but then he dips into the oil, pudding, probably pudding. He does that over and over again, and it's just so long. Ugh. After 2 defeated Mavericks, there's a cutscene of the X-Hunters saying they have to stop you now and decide to head out to fight you. They send X a message saying that they're coming for him, and if X beats them, he can have Zero's parts back. What? I mean, he's a robot, so, you know. Now, the X-Hunters will occupy a stage for each of them, and of course, none of them went to Bubble Crab's stage next. I don't think their placements are random for the very first time, so it's just a little annoying that I now have to break my typical weakness route to deal with them. I want to deal with them early because if you don't deal with them all the way until there's about 2 Mavericks left, then you fully miss out on getting Zero's parts. Alright, I guess I'll go for Flamestag next. He would actually also be a semi-good stage to try first if you want to do that instead of Wire Sponge. An easy access to a heart and a sub-tank as well, although I didn't know about it the first go around, but it is actually pretty easy to find. As an X-Hunter stage, their boss door is also really easy to reach. That's what the deal with the Wire Sponge door was for. Each stage has a separate special boss door somewhere in the stage for the X-Hunters. Some are super easy to reach, some are definitely not. Anyways, Surges is up first. Oh my god, I hate fighting Surges. There's some sort of stipulation in order to hurt the old fart, but it's not made real clear, and the fight is just an absolute cluster. Thankfully, whatever rules there are to him, my brand new spin wheel can actually do decent damage or aid in clearing the stupid mines Surges poops out, allowing me to focus more on dodging the stupid backflipping old geezer. Beating him nets you a part of Zero, so yay. Surges kicked my butt and Flamestag had already done a number on me, so I was sort of preparing to back out of this place and try again later with his weakness. But then, I don't know, I guess I just kind of got into the zone here for a second. The fight was super close, but in the end, I came out on top. Ooh, damn that was close, but pretty satisfying. Ah, there we go. Someone's dropped off at Bubble Crab's stage. Let's take him on now. In order to get to the secret boss door, you have to destroy this fish ship boss before it reaches the end, and it's pretty annoying. You have to fight over large gaps while also jumping up to even reach the thing. I don't really like fighting Violent in this state. His mace ball tail thing bounces around way too erratically and it's a little too large to dodge reactively for my enjoyment. I figured I'd end up just having to brute force my way through it. Oh look, there's an enemy I can get health off of for my sub-tanks. Ugh. I say that like it was a good thing, because this godforsaken thing would not drop health. It took forever. Ugh. Round 2 went a lot better since Violin behaved so much more. Bubble Crab went down just as easy. Since I already took down Flame Stag, next up should be Morph Moth, but the last X-Hunter decided to go to Crystal Snail stage. Ugh. Alright. Ooh, a secret. And a ride armor to use to get over there. Definitely doing something wrong. Alright, whatever. He moved to Overdrive Ostrich's stage. And the secret door here is super easy to find, literally right at the start of the stage. Agile's probably the easiest of the 3 X-Hunters to deal with. You do need spastic reaction timing sometimes when he freaks out and rushes to the other side of the room, but sticking to the wall is usually a good strategy. So Overdrive Ostrich's stage has a chaser bike sequence. These things are fine on their own to operate, but the level's layout is not beginner friendly whatsoever. You have pillars laced throughout the track that you have to shoot down, or else they destroy the bike and you're forced to go back. They also take way too many shots to do so, so unless you're already spamming the fire button, you usually get hit by them. There's also a jump at the end of the outdoor sequence that can just kiss my butt. The bike's physics are a little too realistic, if that makes sense. You can make the bike jump on its own and make it speed up with the dash button, but in any sort of incline, whether it be an actual like ramp jump or just a natural slope, will make the bike jump regardless. In order to make the jump, you have to basically be doing absolute top speed on the final jump only, but there's like a slant right before it that speeding up there spoils the whole thing. Ugh. The only reason I tried to make it work so hard though was because I always thought that the hard tank needed the chaser bike to get. Jumping ahead, it's not necessary. But, alright, the X-Hunters are dealt with, so let's just go back to weakness order. Morph Moth's stage isn't anything to write home about other than the asinine hiding place for the Dr. Light capsule. His fight's pretty neat though. You start off fighting his cocoon form, then finish it off with the Maverick's main design at the end. Magnus Centipede has a small semblance of stealth, dodging spotlights to keep these turrets from dropping down to attack you. Needed as well in order to get some of the secrets. Magnus' fight is pretty easy once you know the pattern, but it is a good point to note that the secondary weakness like Flame Mammoth from the last game is mostly gone. Magnus Centipede is more akin to Armored Armadillo. Hitting him with Silk Shot will destroy his tail, but that's kind of it. Rather, many of the Mavericks do have a sort of 2-stage fight to them. Morph Moth's 2 states, Wire Sponge going invincible and shooting lightning, Flame Stag turning blue and speeding up. I feel like the organic manipulation of the Mavericks in the first game, while interesting, felt a little redundant following the traditional Megaman formula. Here though, it's fun having to readjust your strategy partway through a fight based on how a Maverick is reacting. Alrighty, Magnet Mine in hand, time for Crystal Snail for real. I'm definitely missing something here. At least a headpiece is easy to find, even if it is fairly useless. Crystal Snail is also a little boring, with his slowdown skill if he's able to get it off. Thankfully, not quite as bad as Wheelgator. Finally, Overdrive Ostrich again. I just barely made the jump, which sort of caught me off guard, and ended up blowing it up seconds later, and when you reach the indoor section, you can't get the bike again unless you restart. Thankfully, I don't mind a little acupuncture. Snagging the feet part, getting to Overdrive Ostrich is pretty cool. Much like Storm Eagle from the last game, X turns on rapid fire and lands in probably the largest arena. Ostrich does sort of suffer from Spark Mandrill syndrome, but does require timing and positioning to utilize it to the best of your ability, so that makes it fun. Dr. Kane finds the X-Hunter base. It's at grid location 00. That's right, at the North Pole! I can't help but feel the writers thought kids were just gonna freak out when they read that, but yeah, anyways. Before we do that though, let's grab the last upgrades. Feels kind of like a dick move to need Bubble Crab's weapon to get at least one of his secrets. Oh, you gotta tap the button. Okay. Alrighty, X-Hunter base time. God, I hate this closing wall part. It's super tight, and the clamp robot thing always knocks me back down. Oh yeah? Well, take this! Ooh, okay. Ooh, good thing the Giga Crush raised me up. Ooh. You have refights against the X-Hunters again as part of the final bosses of each area. I actually kind of like Violent's version this go-around. It sort of merges Boss Spider with him, having to pay attention to the blocks he spawns, letting you have a better sense of where the ball might go in the future. I hate fighting Surges. Ugh. You have to destroy the 4 nipples in the front so you can actually do damage to him. But if you destroy the nipples one by one, he basically steals all of your standing room. Giga Crushing the first part is the best way to go, then charged Sonic Slicer, hopefully without bouncing, is the way to go. I hate these platforms. They really need to slow their travel speed, at least when going down, that way it can be adjusted easier. So the secret weapon is in this stage. You gotta get through this part, then slide down along the side of the wall with full health to find the final Dr. Light capsule. It gives you the Shoryuken. A little less fun than the Hadoken, especially since there's no sound clip, but whatever. Also, is Dr. Light quoting Wayne's World?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Weird. Again, Agile's probably the easiest of the X-Hunter rematches. Though, definitely the strangest looking, like, why? 4th stage is the traditional rematches that OG Megaman can recognize. Finally, the Sigma stage, at Magnus Centipede's place. I thought we were at the North Pole. Anyways, here's where collecting Zero provides its only benefit. Without his parts, Sigma actually drops off the normal Zero, and you'd have to fight him here as the first phase of the final fights. With his parts though, Sigma brings a black suit Faker, and the real Zero comes along to destroy it instantly.
I found you, Faker!
Sending you off to the second phase of the fights. Now look, Sigma's ditched his Star Wars obsession for a Marvel one. Must be a Hugh Jackman fan. The final phase is against this hologram head. It's a little more simple compared to the Sigma Wolf from the first game, but it hits hard regardless. I also don't really know what to do at the end when it just kind of traps you and just does constant damage. I just kind of brute forced my way through. And with him defeated once again, X escapes with Sigma vowing that every death will make him stronger. Yeah. Okay, bud. And that's basically it. It's alright. Mega Man X2 should have been more of the same from the first game, but the devs decided to try and mix things up with the gameplay a little bit. That's commendable for sure, but things like the chaser bike, most of the armor upgrades, the utilization of the X-Hunters, and even the special weapons just don't really feel all that amazing. Even the side reward of repairing Zero or the Shoryuken just sort of feel underwhelming compared to the first game. But in all honesty, I can't really chalk anything up against it because outside of those, it is much of the same as the first. So, you know, if you really liked X1, you're probably going to really like X2. But anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Like what you saw, you can click right up there to check out some of my other videos that I've done. Or, if you really feel like it, you can click right up there to subscribe. And also, if you feel like it, I'll leave my Twitter down below in case you want to follow me on there. I don't post a whole lot, but I'm trying at least, so give me a follow down there if you feel like it. And until next time, guys, I will see you all later.